Somewhere in a locked vault, there is a book no one has ever been able to read. Not because it's written in a dead language. Historians have cracked dead languages before. This is different, because in over 100 years of trying, nobody has even agreed on what kind of writing it is.
And that's just one of them. Because history, the version they taught you in school, has holes in it. Cracks where the confirmed facts stop and the open questions begin. Tonight, we're going into 6 of them. The ones historians still argue about. The ones the evidence never quite closes the door on. Stay till the end, because number 4 is sitting in a museum right now, and the leading scientific theory about it isn't nearly as simple as the legend. In 1912, a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich was digging through a collection at a Jesuit college in Italy when he found something strange. A 240-page manuscript, handwritten, covered in flowing script and illustrations of plants that don't match any known species. Radiocarbon dating places the vellum in the early 1400s. That part is settled. What isn't settled is everything else. The text uses a consistent set of characters and follows statistical patterns real languages tend to follow, which is part of why it's kept experts hooked for over a century. During and after the Second World War, it landed on the desk of William Friedman, the American cryptologist famous for helping break Japan's wartime military cipher. He assembled a team of top codebreakers and studied the manuscript on and off for decades. He never broke it. By the time he gave up, Friedman's own best guess wasn't that it was a lost language at all. He suspected it might be an invented one, built from scratch, the way Esperanto was centuries later. Other researchers still argue it's an elaborate hoax designed to fool a wealthy buyer. Others maintain it's a genuine text in a cipher or dialect nobody has matched yet. Modern computational and AI-driven analyses have chipped away at the edges, but haven't settled it either. The manuscript sits in Yale's Beinecke Library today, fully digitized, fully public, and still, after more than 100 years of trying, unread. 1901. A group of Greek sponge divers get caught in a storm and take shelter near a small island called Antikythera. Diving down to wait it out, one of them resurfaces badly shaken, describing a shipwreck littered with what he thought were corpses. They weren't bodies. They were bronze and marble statues, cargo from a Roman-era ship that sank sometime in the 1st century BCE. But buried in that wreckage was something nobody expected. A corroded lump of bronze that, once X-rayed decades later, turned out to be a machine. Not a simple tool. A geared mechanical calculator containing at least 30 interlocking bronze gears, built to track the phases of the moon, model the position of the sun and known planets, and predict eclipses using the same irregular lunar motion that Greek astronomers like Hipparchus had worked out mathematically. Historians and museum curators are clear on this much. Nothing of comparable mechanical complexity shows up again in the surviving historical record for roughly 1,000 years, until much simpler gear devices appear in the Byzantine and Islamic worlds. And it isn't until the astronomical clocks of 14th century Europe that anything truly rivals it. Which raises the uncomfortable question historians still debate. Was this a one-of-a-kind masterpiece, or did an entire tradition of ancient engineering simply fail to survive? In the coastal desert of southern Peru, there are drawings so large that many are hard to fully register from the ground. A hummingbird stretching nearly the length of a football field. A monkey with a spiraled tail almost as long. A spider etched across roughly 150 feet of packed earth. They were made by the Nazca people, most likely sometime between 500 BCE and 500 CE, by scraping away the dark, oxidized surface stones to expose the pale ground underneath. The technique isn't the mystery. The purpose is. Many of these images are difficult to appreciate as complete figures from ground level,
And the Nazca had no aircraft and no hot air balloons. So why invest that much labor into shapes so much easier to see from above than from where their builders stood? Leading theories range from astronomical and calendar markers to ceremonial pathways walked during rituals to symbolic offerings meant to be seen by the gods. Archaeologists find some evidence for more than one of these explanations, but no single theory fully accounts for all the lines, and none has been proven.
Nova Scotia, 1795, according to the traditional account. A teenager named Daniel McGinnis rows out to a small, sparsely inhabited island and finds something strange. A circular depression in the ground beneath an old oak tree, with marks on a branch above it suggesting something heavy had once been lowered down. The story goes that he starts digging and hits layers of flagstones and logs spaced at intervals as he goes deeper, as if someone had built this shaft in stages. It's worth noting the earliest written account of this discovery wasn't published until 1856, 6 decades after it supposedly happened, which is part of why historians treat the earliest details with some caution. What isn't in question is that starting in the 1800s, treasure hunters poured money, engineering, and, in 6 documented cases, their lives into this site. Diggers repeatedly hit flooding around 90 feet down that rose and fell with the tides, which many treasure hunters concluded was a deliberately engineered booby trap designed to drown anyone who got close to a hidden vault. But that's not the only explanation. Geologists who've studied the island's limestone and gypsum bedrock point out that this terrain naturally forms sinkholes and underground channels, and at least one nearby collapse in 1878 is confirmed to have been a natural sinkhole, not a man-made structure. Some researchers now argue the entire money pit may be exactly that, a natural cavity that generations of hopeful diggers reinterpreted as an engineered vault. Buried treasure, a natural sinkhole, or something built by human hands for a purpose we still don't know? After 230 years and millions of dollars spent, nobody has definitively proven any of it, and nobody has stopped digging. 1587. 115 English settlers land on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what's now North Carolina, to build England's first permanent colony in the New World. Their governor, John White, sails back to England for supplies. England was already at war with Spain, and in 1588, the threat of the Spanish Armada led the Crown to hold back nearly every English ship for home defense. White couldn't get back to Roanoke for 3 years. When he finally returned in 1590, the colony was gone. No struggle, no fire, no bodies left behind. Just an abandoned, carefully dismantled settlement, and a single word carved into a post: Croatoan. Both a nearby island and the name of a neighboring indigenous nation, allied with the colonists at the time. White wanted to sail on and search that island himself. A storm damaged his ships and forced him back to England before he could. He never returned, and no organized search reached the area for years afterward. The theory most historians favor today is comparatively undramatic, that the colonists relocated to live among the Croatoan or other nearby indigenous communities, likely out of necessity. But it has never been confirmed with physical evidence, and for over 4 centuries, the lost colony has remained exactly that, unresolved. November 24th, 1971. A man using the name Dan Cooper boards Northwest Orient Flight 305 in Portland, Oregon. Mid-flight, he hands a note to a flight attendant. Inside his briefcase, wires and cylinders arranged to look like a bomb. His demands? $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. Once the plane lands in Seattle and the money arrives, he releases the passengers, then orders the crew back into the air, directing them toward Mexico at low altitude and reduced speed. Somewhere over the wooded mountains of southern Washington, in the middle of a rainstorm, at roughly 10,000 feet, he lowers the rear stairs of the plane and jumps into the night, into a storm. Wearing a business suit,
He was never seen again. No confirmed remains, no recovered parachute. In 1980, a young boy found a decaying bundle of the ransom bills partially buried on a riverbank, the only physical trace of Cooper's money ever recovered. The FBI kept the case open for 45 years before officially suspending active investigation in 2016. To this day, the Cooper case remains, according to the FBI itself, the only unsolved air piracy case in American commercial aviation history. Whoever he really was, he was never identified. 6 mysteries. 6 moments where the confirmed record just stops, where the evidence runs out and all that's left is competing theories. Maybe that's uncomfortable. Or maybe that's the point. History isn't a finished book. It's a manuscript with missing pages, and every generation gets another chance to examine the ones still unread. If one of these stuck with you, tell me which one in the comments. And subscribe, because next time we're going deeper into the ones the evidence still hasn't settled.